Welcome to my channel. I know that outside we have calendar of winter time, but I can't wait to show you this spring coloring book. It's a beautiful Polish coloring book, and in order to create it, there were united 6 beautiful artists. I am sure that names of them are already well known for you, like K.Kubikovska or G.Salvo. And here they united the most beautiful works dedicated to spring. Book was printed in Poland and it's of excellent quality. It has hardcover and I do love this beautiful flowers, spring flowers on the cover and small edition of the golden frame around the book's name. It has sewn binding, so everything very nicely binded together. The size of the book is full A4. Comparing to the size of Hannah Carson, for example, it's the same width, but it's slightly higher. Let's have a look what we have inside. Beautiful line art on the title page, the same as on the cover. Well, maybe I will try to color it, but I have a bad luck. I have a bad luck with title pages, so maybe I will just leave it for now. I think that I can color it with watercolors. By the way, paper here is absolutely perfect. I did paper testing. From the beginning I really liked that paper is thick when you touch it and it's bright white. In the end of the book there is a test page. I already managed to test here watercolors and various pencils. Here in the center I colored with Derwent ink 10s. I did watercolor background. Then I tested budget pencils, Star Joy, and my very demanding to the paper quality Kohinoor polycolor pencils here, and everything worked really well. Paper is perfect for water-based media. I didn't have any problems with applying watercolor and as much water as I wanted. It was possible to create beautiful flow from one color into another and pigment wasn't absorbed into paper very quickly. So you can see that my lilac goes into peach, then into yellow, and I was able to add necessary amount of paint if I wanted to, or to delete excessive amount of pigment with clean brush from the surface of the paper if I needed to. Again, ink tents behaved really well, and even Kohinoor polycolor, which are really demanding to the paper tools, they were really good here, and I am crazy happy because I have several of them, but I almost never use them, and finally I have the book where I can use them. So, singing this praise to the paper, now let's have a look at pictures. As I said, 6 beautiful illustrators. Some of them I knew, some of them were totally new for me. And here we have names of pictures, and I really appreciate when artist gives us name of the created work. For me it's like a starting point to imagine story behind the picture or even to start imagining color palette. So I always love when pictures have their own names. Coloring pages are one-sided. Only in the beginning of each part of the book we have short story about each of the artists. I also love that artists selected some phrases which describes them from their favorite books or favorite films, and also we have other books created by this artist. Of course I knew about K.Kubikovska, her style is so unique, but about several of her books I've never heard before, so I need to discover more. And of course here we have info where to purchase books or individual pictures, or where to look at the artist art. So I will leave you Instagram pages of all these artists, and of course I will leave you a link to this Poland shop which has international delivery and huge amount of beautiful books, both created and printed by themselves, so printed by Decomate, or international books and many rare books. So I feel a little bit guilty to give you a link to such a huge amount of books, but before Christmas we can spoil us a little bit with new books. Well, let's have a look at the art of Kubikovska. I think that everyone who once looked at her pages now can recognize them everywhere, and they are absolutely beautiful, unique and beautiful, many details, nice strong contrast. And I would say that in the beginning I feel like they are already so beautiful in black and white, how it would be possible to add colors here. But then you think that um, maybe watercolor, maybe Inktense for the background, for some of the details, they indeed can be quite interesting to use. And I imagine, for example, here that I can do relatively light flowers, maybe a white with some pink centers, then dark background. I think about indigo blue for the background, almost black. Then on the feathers I would use Inktense, something like madder brown or maybe dark rich wine color, red wine color, and I want to add some gold, shining gold watercolor to add some colorful accents, to add some shiny details. So this style is totally new for me. I think that I have to adjust to it, but it's a new challenge, and you know that I love new challenges and new artists. So I'm really happy that finally I have an opportunity to color Carolina's pictures. Beautiful one. And as I said, I do love that we have names. Here we have You Gave Me Wings, here we have The Prophet. The next one is Isabella Kwiecień Spunar. Sorry, but to pronounce names was very difficult for me, and what can I say, even if I made a mistake in pronouncing Isabella full name, the only thing I can say is that what is more important, that I immediately fall in love with Isabella art. She was a new artist for me, and here we have a short story how Isabella decided to create line art pictures. She decided to participate in mermaid and to color pictures, but then she discovered that she had much more fun in creating her own line art, and people started to appreciate pictures which she posted on Instagram. And I know why, because her pictures, they are adorable, they are very sweet. Indeed, many details connected to spring. I totally love her spring flowers. And also a lot of very cute details. I do love that her fairies, they have childish faces, and the first page, it was called her first steps. So really very sweet pictures. I appreciate that here we have a very delicate grayscale. It's helpful for beginners, especially look here. For me always it's difficult to decide where to put shadows on the hands, and here we already have very delicate shading, very helpful. The same for the face, and of course a lot of flowers. I think that I already colored many of my books with spring flowers, so I felt that there will be a lack of such pictures for my springtime. But fortunately now, because of this book, I am well prepared for the springtime, and I can wait until I finish to color all my Christmas pictures, and I will be ready to start book with flowers. Adorable elves, adorable fairies. Next we have A.Miarczyńska, and again she was a new artist for me. Here we have two books. One was already published and one will be published soon. And I immediately fall in love with Anna's style, and her picture I selected as my first project. It's called Japanese Plum, and here again I mixed various media to test paper better. For this page I tested that watercolor background. You can see I started from watercolor background. Then for kimono I used budget pencils, my Sucolor and Starjoy, and to finish it, to do skin, I intend to try my set of Black Widow pencils for darker skin and my set of polycolor pencils, which I also have with several nice skin tones. So I plan to publish speed coloring for this page in a couple of days, and I hope that you will watch it. I was immediately attracted to the style of drawing. I would say that shape of all these branches, it's exactly what we can see on the traditional Japanese watercolor or ink paintings, when with just one movement of their brush they can create this authentic shape of their cherry trees or plum trees, and the artist managed to catch the shape of this and the style of Japanese illustrations perfectly. And the girl, of course, she is beautiful, so that's why I selected her as my first project. But it was a difficult choice because the next one is also amazing. And besides, you can see that nothing bleeded through. I just wait to finish coloring this one, then I will iron this page and it will be nice and smooth as new. No buckling, nothing. And here we have Anemone, again another beautiful page, and here I think about using Derwent tints with their lilac and purple colors. They will be perfect for this nice velvety petals of anemones. The only thing I have to decide which color I want to use for the background, and then I will be ready. Here the girl, she is so beautiful. I hope you can see all the details. I love the style of her dress and that flower which is attached, and the style of her hair, a little bit in medieval style. Next one we have Tulip. We have this Parsk flower. Unfortunately, in my country they already are very rare, almost extincted. So when I was a child it was possible to find them during springtime in the forest, but people deleted them, so they are now extremely rare, and I hope that at least by coloring this page I will be able to rework my childish memories, how we adore these flowers in the forest near my children's house, my childhood house. Next we have Primrose, and I do love how flowers were added to the hair, and here we even have like raindrops. Another good detail, maybe something started to melt, probably ice beneath the sun. A very nice page with, and if you look closer, many interesting details like this transition from the night to the day, leaves also added to the hair. And I do love that faces, they are all different. It's not like artist created one face and then started to change hair or some additional decorative elements. No, the faces also are different and all beautiful. Well, I think that everyone knows about Krystyna Nowakowska and about her beautiful Queens of Poland and Slavic beauties. Here they included several beautiful ladies, and again I am glad that line art is also very delicate. All ladies by Novak have beautiful faces, but also I discovered that she is a very good artist for botanical elements. Here we have lilac in bigger and smaller size. On the next page we have another selection of beautiful spring flowers, but also this adorable rabbit. The eye of the rabbit is something beautiful. And I do love how they are called, pences. Well, I definitely have to study better names of the spring flowers. And I promise to do it when I will be coloring this book. Look at this vase. I don't know why, but I do love to color vases, especially when they are made from various plants and flowers, so this one is also quite nice. And look at this one. The next part was created by G.Salvo. She also is quite famous. I think that Wild Soul now is extremely popular on YouTube, on Instagram. And again, grayscale is very helpful here. Just a little bit around the nose, which is always a challenging part for beginner colorists to do, and around the eyes. And I always appreciated how she does her animals, never outlines them with hard line, very nice delicate shading and hint how to do fur. So of course this bunny is absolutely adorable. Look here, the girl, she has beautiful eyes, beautiful hair, but most of all it's quite interesting how she added the nest and spring flowers between hair. I think that it's my favorite in this part. Look at these beautiful birds. And again another one in Japanese style. I will try to use different color palette for the kimono when I will be doing this one, comparing to the page which I already started. And here we have picture with roses. I am glad that this paper takes watercolor very well, so I don't have to bother myself with complicated backgrounds. I think that for such a style of portraits, a very delicate background in pastel blue, pastel green, pastel lilac color, it's everything I need. So quick watercolor background, and then I can concentrate on the details. The next part was created by Barbara Sobczyńska, and first I thought that she is new for me, but then I looked at this beautiful book. I remember that this book, The Dragon in Krakow, it was represented by Peter Hewitt on her channel, and I already noticed how beautiful was this book, that I really loved her line art. Her pictures, they are very detailed with many intricate details, and I really enjoy that we have a variety of various animals. This one is great because all the animals they have, and birds, they have babies. It's spring, so we have babies around each of the animals, and we have good variety of them. I do love foxes, hedgehogs, and of course look here at these hungry tiny birds. Many nice details here. Oh, we even have bear and tiny bear, then we have moose. I think that here I will be coloring, maybe combining ink tents and regular pencils. The next one also is very detailed, and here we have date under the full moon. So again we have pairs of animals, and it's very sweet that each of them managed to find its own pair. Even the ladybugs and even smaller creatures, they all have pairs. Very sweet. This one is more in fantasy style, so many details to find. We have the elf, tiny elf here, so it was interesting discovery. And finally, again we have this enchantment page. Again in fantasy style. I do love this love idea of love between fairy and the bee. Here we have storm. It's a really great idea that because of one book you can discover art of the 6 artists, you can decide for yourself which style is better for you. Then maybe you decide that you want to add more books by this artist to your collection. And of course, I think that in February, when everything is dark and gloom, I will start to color this book, and it will be perfect to improve my mood and to make my waiting for spring much more easier and cheerful. So I hope that you will see my speed coloring video for my first page here, and that in February we will start to color this book. All the links to the shop and to the artist's Instagram profiles and their shops will be down in the info box. Thank you for watching, and until the next videos. So here is my quick paper test. First I decided to try Derwent Inktense. Before I finally made the decision that my first page will be Japanese plum, I was thinking about anemone. So Inktense which I selected could be quite helpful if you want to color anemone flowers. And I discovered that I absolutely love how pigment spread over paper, how it's possible to blend colors, to wash excessive amount of pigment if you don't need it. And I also tested several of watercolor paints from my White Night set, which I later indeed used for the background for the Japanese plum. Also, I decided that one of the pencil sets which I will need for my future coloring, it will be Star Joy, because of the really good selection of pink colors, and they are capable to maintain quite nice thin tip of the pencil for a longer amount of time comparing to Prismacolors. So it's easier to color tiny flowers and to do more tidy coloring. And honestly, I slightly more prefer not so soft pencils like Prismacolors, but slightly harder pencils like Polychromos or Starjoy on this paper. For me, they give slightly more accurate result. And the last test which I did here is with Kohinoor Polycolor. I have only several pencils, and I mostly have them from the variety of pencils for coloring fair skin, so very conveniently different shades of pink, flesh tones, peach colors, so I can use them both for skin and for flowers. But I don't use them very frequently because they are demanding to the tooth of the paper. But on this paper they worked really well. They covered paper even with one layer. They blended really well. So I was crazy happy that I found a book where finally I will be able to use these quite nice pencils. I saw a lot of videos where artists use them and praise them. But of course they use paper with more tools comparing to the paper in coloring books. And finally I started to understand why these pencils really are worth to try, and that indeed they are good. You just need to find the right type of paper. It's good that I still have a lot of areas here on this test page to test my future color combos, because I have a big plans for this book. I thank you for watching, and I hope that maybe from February I will start to work more in this book, and that I will be able to color pictures by each of the artists which I have here.